survival purpose. Where pain becomes purpose, no fear, no remorse. Through the pain, through the fire, through the worst of my day, I found purpose in the breaking. Survival isn't a whisper. Oh, if you listen, you'll survive. Still breathing, still alive. God never wastes the hurting. Every chapter had a rolling tide.
Gail Estella, and welcome to the Gail Estella Survival Podcast.
From pain comes purpose. No fear, no remorse. Survival isn't a whisper. Through the worst of my day. And some breakers in no whisper.
Hello, everyone. This is Gail Estella, and welcome to the Gail Estella Survival Podcast. Here's where we turn pain into purpose, because survival isn't a whisper, it's a roar. And before we get started, there's a few things I would like from you. The first thing is, will you please go in, like, share, and subscribe to the Gail Estella Survival Podcast? Secondly, where are you tuning in from? I'm here in Aiken, South Carolina. Put in the comment box below where you're tuning in from. Are you following me on all of my social media platforms? If not, will you please do so at Gail Estella? And lastly, Through It All by Gail Estella. Have you purchased your copy yet? If not, it's not too late. You can go to TrueVinePublishingCompany.org, Amazon.com, or anywhere books are sold. The gentleman that I'll be interviewing tonight is a classmate of mine, former classmate from W.J. Keenan High School in Columbia, South Carolina. I am so excited to have him here for you to hear his story, talk about his music and the things that he's gone through in life and how God has brought him through it and how he survived it through it all. I'm ready to introduce you to Mr. Benjamin White.
Hello.
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I am doing well. I am doing well. Thank you for being here tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Yeah.
I want to start off with this before we go any further. I remember you as Sim Booty.
Wow.
Yes, we're going back.
Yeah, you went
When
back.
I saw your name on social media, Benjamin White, a lot of times we didn't know a person's real name because we were so used to calling them by their nicknames.
Right.
Yes. So tell us about Sim Booty and when did you drop your nickname and why did you drop your nickname?
Oh, well, the nickname came from classmates. We was playing the dozens, talking, and they just came up with that. I'm gonna tell you who it was. It was really your classmate. It was Gregory Archie and Walter Tyler.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And we was out just in the backyard in William Bowles' backyard.
Okay.
We was just talking and then we started talking about each other, what they had on, and it was, well, you got on these tight pants. I'm gonna start calling you Sim Booty. So they took it to school the next day, and it, once you get a nickname, it kind of stay with you almost forever.
Right. Yes.
So,
and when did you drop it?
when I left Keenan.
Oh, did you? Okay.
I dropped it, but a lot of people didn't drop it.
Okay.
Yeah. So once I went in the military and everything, I wanted Sims is my middle name. It's
Okay. Benjamin Sims White. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So, I always went by Sims. Very few people call me Benjamin.
Okay.
Yeah, very few people call me. So most of everyone that I knew called me Sims.
Okay. And I'm going to be doing a series next week through my prayer call, and it's about identity and name change. And I'll be talking about the different characters in the Bible that God changed some of their names. How important is our name, and how important is the identity of losing a name or gaining a name, and how we respond to what people call us or refer to us? Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah, it makes sense. I think it's important on names. And when someone has a child and they decide to name him, I think it's very important to name him something with a meaning. And not just give him a name that's maybe the flavor of the day. So my grandfather name was Benjamin. My dad name was Sims.
Okay.
So I never met my grandfather. He had passed before I was born, but it means something to me, even though I never met him.
Right. Because a lot of people, once they get a certain age, I never had a nickname. Once they get a certain age, they drop their nicknames. Right. They don't want to be referred to that anymore.
Right. Well, I think it's a lot of things that, come up when you're children. You know what I'm saying? So once you become an adult, it's time to leave like childish things alone. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah. Now, you said something once you went into the Army. You dropped some booty once you got Navy. Yes. You said service. I said not Army. Okay. Yeah. You said that you dropped some booty after graduation, and then you entered into the military.
Right.
The Navy. So take us back to your military days.
My military days. Well, because when I left Keenan, I didn't know exactly what I was going to do. I know college wasn't an option. I know I wasn't going to study and go. I said, well, being on somebody's job, I said, well, I don't think that's going to. So I said, well, let me go into the military. But to be honest with you, I wasn't mature enough for military. Sometimes I went to the Navy to see the world, which I did. But it's a lot in between seeing the world and that you don't know about, And I did my time and I got out, but it wasn't something that I really loved. But so I did my time and got out the military.
So you said there are a lot of things that goes on in between seeing the world.
Right.
Is there anything that you would like to share about your experiences in the Navy?
Just the military itself I hear a lot of people say you go in the military, you become disciplined, but it depends on the person. Everybody's not going to be that's not going to work for everybody. Some people just got that mentality of, I want to have a good time. And that's how I was. I just wanted to have a good time, But it's a lot to do. It's a job, too. It's a job. This is just like you at work. It's a job. The rules you got to follow. There's stuff, you got to do.
The structure.
Your own times. Yeah. You can't be late for this. You can't be. So it's a lot to worry about. So that's what I mean by stuff in between. And there's a lot of rules that when you sign to go into the military, that's not pointed to you. That's not told. You're not told.
Okay, so you can't be walking in blind.
We want you in, but we ain't gonna tell you everything. We gonna let you find out on your own about. It's like things you do. If you get in trouble, they can take your money.
Okay.
They can take your money for a month, or they can put you on restriction if you do. But they don't tell you that. Which I don't think it's fair. I think you should know the whole picture before you go into something. You know what I'm saying? So But
So do you think it's still that way today?
I still think I think it is. I'm not sure, but
Okay.
I think it's a lot. I mean, I went in 79, so you could take that's a long time.
Yeah, that was a long time
Yeah,
ago.
so hopefully I'm hopeful that it changed to where the recruits know exactly what they're getting themselves into
Right. And their parents.
and their parents, right?
Yeah. I've met a lot of people that joined the armed forces, and during that time, they picked up different vices, different habits because of the structure, because of some of the things they saw and experienced. And they picked up the alcohol. I've known people. I did an interview with a gentleman that he became addicted to a substance abuse while in the military. Have you ever experienced that or witnessed that happening around you?
I've witnessed that, and I say that before I went in, I used to drink, beer, the things kids drink, beer, wine, stuff like that. But and I got into the military, it intensified. It got, you know what I'm saying? So, the alcohol start drinking more. I mean, to me, it's something in the Navy. I don't know about the Army, but the Navy seemed like it's pushed. Get off the ship, go out there and party, have a good time, and da 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 da, and So that is something that's pushed to me in the Navy. I don't know about the Army. I've never been in the Army, none of that. But I know in the Navy, if you think about it, whenever you think about Navy guys, it's taking over the city they in and just partying and having a great time. And
Yeah, you see that in movies on television shows.
That's real.
Yeah.
So, but and then the drug part, I used to smoke weed, but it gradually got to more. I don't blame that on the military because that could have happened anywhere. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I became alcoholic, and I call it what it is. You know what I mean? So, and I started doing drugs. Some people say marijuana is not a drug, but
it is.
It is to me. Most people start drugs. More intense drugs from marijuana. It's like the gateway.
It's usually the alcohol, then the marijuana, and then they elevate to whatever else it is that you
start on real hard drugs. They start from graduate and go on up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
So why do you think that is? You have your gateway drug. Do you think personalities? Do you think our biological makeup? Do you think the environment?
I think it's a little of all of it.
Okay.
I think it's a little all of it. I wasn't raised like that. And that's another thing I when I hear people say, well, they must be wasn't raised right. You got your own mind. You choose to do what you want to do. And, some people may not be, but in my case, no, I was raised right. I just chose to do that. And I don't know if it was because trying to fit in. I think that's where it started. Yeah. Trying to fit in with who you think is the it person. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. So you try to fit in, and then it leads to other. And I think a lot of people have addictive spirits. The spirit is they have addictive. Some people can like. I'm just using food for example. Some people can like sweets. some people can eat sweets and put it down and don't mess with it for, a while. And some people every day they got to eat because they got that. So they have addictive spirit.
Woo! I'm talking to God now about my sugar intake. Like, God, my life is becoming unmanageable with this cake.
I had that problem. Anything I do seemed like I'd go at it all in, all way. I can't separate.
The moderation part.
That don't work with me.
Yeah.
It don't work with me. So
I like that. I like what you just said. And we're going to go back. First of all, you said a lot of times we use, or you did, because you wanted to fit in. Mm-hmm. You don't always hear a lot of men say that. Now, you know, a lot of times we hear women say, they want to be a part of something. They want to be a part of a clique because of insecurities, or they want to feel better. They want to be known as the it person. But men don't always admit to that. So men can feel the same way too. Or men do feel the same way too.
It starts from everything starts from somewhere.
So do you think it's insecurities?
My main problem was growing up as a kid. I always wanted to play sports. That's what I wanted to do. I was pretty good when I was younger. And then when I got in high school, I was in a car accident in middle school. Mm-hmm. So walking from Farwell home, I got hit by a car, and so the doctor wouldn't let me play organized sports no more
because of
the accident. I had broke both of my arms, both of my legs were broke, had internal bleeding on the inside, ruptured spleen, all that kind of stuff.
So you're a miracle.
Yeah, and so I would go out to practice, and then when it's time to take the physical, I would never fit past the physical. And so the guys I used to hang with, they were athletes, kind of athletic athletes. So once I felt like, well, I don't play sports no more. I can't be with these guys who, you know what I'm saying? So I started choosing the other side to be with. So that's where
And what's the other side?
Like guys who smoke weed,
okay,
beer, and so I started being around guys that did that. So, and that's how it started. That's basically how it started.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So as a teenager, having a life-altering situation to happen to you, does anyone ever talk, or did parents know to talk to their kids? Because therapy wasn't a big thing. Did you know how to communicate that or articulate that I'm feeling this way because I can't do this? Did you know how to articulate that?
No, I didn't. And when we grew up, it was different than now. Parents are listening. Parents listen to their kids more now than our parents did.
Yeah. Kids have more of a voice now.
They way or no way. That's basically how it was. So it was kid. People, have things to say about how children are raised now. But I think it's better to talk than not have a voice. You know what I'm saying? Either way has its pros and cons. So
yes.
So there's no perfect way. You're gonna have people that go. You're gonna have people that the parents talk to them and they discuss this and that, and they still do what they want to do.
Anyway,
it goes anyway. So it gonna. But they can't say, "Well, you didn't listen to me. You didn't hear me." When I was trying to tell you this and this. So parents nowadays, they do listen to their kids, So I think that's a good thing.
I do too.
Yeah.
So the marijuana, the alcohol, the marijuana, all of this was during the time you were in the Navy.
Yeah.
You were okay.
See, they didn't have drug tests then. The only way they knew you had to actually get caught physically.
Okay.
So, caught when they did inspection or something like that, have it in your locker or whatever, something like that. But they didn't have they didn't do drug tests. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever graduate to anything stronger than marijuana?
Cocaine, yeah, I did cocaine. Cocaine. To be honest with you, because I like to be. One thing I say about myself, I'm a very transparent person. I don't like, stuff I did. I did,
Yeah.
I did. It just, and then it went, I tried. I even tried crack. I tried it, but through the grace of God, I never got hooked.
That is the grace of God. Mm-hmm.
I did it a couple times and then stopped, and then never did do it again. But I didn't feel what everybody else must.
It was feeling.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I like that. This is a waste of time.
Yeah, and that was the grace of God.
Yeah, it didn't feel like.
Counted his grace and his mercies on you on that particular day.
Right. Yeah. I didn't escape the alcohol and the powder cocaine.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't escape, but God, God did what He did. He kept me in.
So while you were in the military, did you ever see any type of combat?
No.
Okay, that's a blessing.
Yeah, no, we didn't. Thank God we didn't.
Yeah, that's a blessing. So what made you get out of the service? What was your reason for getting out?
Didn't like it. I mean,
Okay.
I didn't like it. I didn't like it. It was as I did my time, and I was like, this ain't for me. I ain't no use to me staying in, trying to force my way to 20 years.
Yeah. Everybody say, just stay in, man. The benefits will be worth it in 20 more years.
I couldn't. So, I met a lot of great people, good people, and that's got to see places I've never been back to see. And if I wouldn't have went in, I never would have gotten to see it, So
did you have a plan once you got out of the Navy? Did you have a plan for your life?
I didn't have a plan. Because, the job I went into is not a job. It's not a job, everyday job. I was on the flight deck.
Okay.
Planes land. That's a job for that. There's a job for that. So I was in a field that really didn't have a job when I got out. I could have worked for the airport, probably doing, the one to do the taxi in the plane or something like that. I guess I had enough of that, of that when I was in, so I didn't want to get back into that. So, I kind of did all.
So what did life look like for you after the Navy, post Navy? How did life look for you?
Well, I still had that. When I first got out, I still had the partying attitude, wants to party. And then I met my wife. Well, I met my wife then, and things kind of slowed down. It ain't stopped, but it slowed down a whole lot. But, I think meeting her was my saving grace. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, if I'd have stayed in Columbia, I ain't no telling what would have happened. So God had a plan. I didn't have a plan. So
you got married and you moved to?
It's a little town called Ruffin. It's near Walterboro, South Carolina.
Okay. So did she know of your drug use at the time?
Yeah, she knew. She knew. She never drank or smoked or nothing, but she knew. I wasn't trying to hide. I wasn't trying to hide nothing like that or nothing like that. So, yeah, but
And so you said you moved away. Did that help your drug use, or did you move to another place and brought Benjamin with you and found people there that were doing the same thing that you were doing?
Oh, I found I found people. Yeah, I found people, but still, it was a difference. I can tell you it was different. Even though I was doing the same thing, it wasn't the same
intensity.
Yeah, it wasn't the same intensity. It wasn't the same. Because I didn't know anybody, so it was different. It was different. Because when I'm in Colombia, I knew everybody in Colombia. You know what I'm saying? So it's like moving to another state, and then you don't have any family. You don't have any of your family there, and so you basically her family is your family.
Mm-hmm.
That's but it's not like an hour and 30-minute ride, so it wasn't like it was from here to Atlanta or something like that. You know what I mean? So I can go if I wanted to go come to Colombia. It was no problem.
Did you ever do that?
Yeah, I came back and I got friends. I still would come and see, man. I would come and see and hang out with for a while, but I still have friends. I wasn't ready to let them go. You know what I'm saying? So,
how important is it when we're transforming and we're transitioning into a new person? How important is it to let your past go? Because I know some people, they could move forward and they could still have friends that they still go back and be friends with forever and be okay. And then there's some people I know that some people, places, and things they have to just completely let go of in order to move forward.
It's important because if you're trying to change, you can't hang with the same people that do it wrong. I mean, you know what I'm saying? You can't. It's impossible. To me, it's impossible. You to hang with, if you're trying not to change your life or in any kind of form. If you're saying you're trying to be a better husband, you can't hang with guys who cheating on their husband. I mean, cheating on their wife. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You can't, because either you gonna win them over, or they gonna win you over.
Yeah, and those things can be triggers.
Yeah, so it's really important to let things go, people go if you want to change, and they don't want to change. So sometimes you just have to cut that tie with them.
And I've heard someone say you can love them from afar. Right.
But you know how it worked for me, and I hope I ain't getting ahead of your questions, but it worked out for me that God did all that for me. I ain't had to do that. I really didn't.
Okay, so let's segue into that. Did it get to a point that you felt that you needed some type of intervention? Once you got married, you moved away, you changed your people, places, and things in Colombia. Mm-hmm. Did it ever get to a point to where you are now, or where you were then, that you felt that you needed some type of intervention?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Particular night, this particular, it was in, I can tell you when it was, in 1995. I don't know exactly the month, but anyway, I was going to a game, a football game. I was going to Colombia and ride with my sister to her son's football game up in North Carolina, and my wife didn't want me to go, and I'm going to this game, and so I was high, I was all that kind of stuff, and she was like, so I ended up getting drunk, really, basically, before I got there. I was catching the bus from Orangeburg to Columbia. So the bus driver, I guess he smelled alcohol. And instead of having me arrested, which he could have had me arrested, he did call the cop. They took me to a place. They you need to get a place to stay. So I got a place to stay overnight. And this was my testimony come in. And, I don't know, it was like I was just getting high. I don't even know why. I was just, getting high and smoking and drinking. And so I went to sleep. Well, I passed out and went to sleep. I passed out in the room. But I left the door. I didn't lock the door. But I was passed out. Somebody came in the room. And I had an overnight bag. They took my overnight bag and everything. And they took my sneakers off. And
you didn't feel that?
You
didn't feel it? You didn't feel them removing your shoes?
No, I had already took them off.
Oh, you did? Okay.
I took them off.
Okay.
And I was, I passed out on the bed. And they came in, they got my overnight bag. So when I woke up, I noticed somebody had been there because they didn't pull the door all the way closed. I was like, somebody had been in the room. So I looked around, my bag was gone. They even took my sneakers that was on the room. So I was like, at that moment, things started sinking in. So you got to get some kind of help. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, so the guys that clean up the room, I told God, I got down, I said, prayed, I said, Lord, thank you for not allowing me to get hurt. I could have got killed. They could have killed me or whatever. Whoever came in the room could have killed me. And I said, it's time for me to make a change. So I'm saying how God worked now, I done said that plenty of times, especially after hangover. Anybody that didn't drinking or drink or have drink anything, they have a bad hangover, Lord. I ain't gonna do it no more. And so I did that. But it was something different. I even felt it was something different. You know what I'm saying? And so God, the Lord was like, okay, I'm gonna put you through a test. You said you're gonna do this. So I went to the guy, asked the guy told him what happened. And he said, well, what time? I just cleaned the room. What size sneakers you wear? I told him. He said, man, somebody had a brand new pair of sneakers, left them in the room. Man, that's your size. You can have them. I was like, wow. I mean, brand new, hadn't been worn, hadn't touched the ground. And so I was going to this intersection going into Orangeburg, where I know a lot of people that live in Ruffin, when they go to Orangeburg, they travel that way. So I went there, and I said, man, I'll catch me a ride somewhere, catch me a ride back to the house. And the guy said, car came, sure enough, after about 30 minutes, car came by, some guys I knew, they had cooler full of beer. I had cooler full of beer. I had told the Lord I was going to stop. And he was testing me. He was testing me, and they had weed. They were like, man, you hit this weed, hit this. And I was like, nah, man, I quit. I couldn't believe the word came up my mouth, and to show you how good God is, like I said, God takes away the people. They didn't even ask me. You know how most get people, man, come on, try to get you on the, they didn't say nothing. They just
let it be, drop me off my house. But my pastor, he lives like 4 or 5 houses down from me. I went straight
Passed my house, went to his house. Knocked on the door. I told him I needed some help. Now, I wasn't talking about God. I still wasn't talking about God. Now, I was like, rehab. I'm saying rehab. And he told me, he said, you don't need no rehab. So all you need is God in your life. And at that time, you know, being raised in a Baptist church, you know, this is Pentecostal. You know, they do things a lot different.
Yeah.
So, the laying on hands and
Speaking in tongues, running around the church.
and I was like, you know, I always used to tell my wife, she was raised in that, and I always tell her, people faking. You know, I used to say, oh, them people faking. They don't pay the people some money, and now they jumping up and nah. You know, that's just how I thought. You know what I'm saying? I guess from watching stuff on TV,
Right?
seeing them, you know, like that. So he said, "Oh, let me pray for you." I said, "Okay, go. Whatever you want to do, go ahead and do it." So at that point, I knew I had to reach my limit, my point. You know, that I was like. So he started praying for me. He was just praying, asking God to deliver me, take the taste of alcohol and the drugs. He asked me, did I have some drugs in my pocket? I had a bag of weed. I threw it in the garbage can. I had a pack of Newports. I threw it in the garbage can. And he was praying for me. And while he was praying, man, it was just, I started feeling different. So I thought, throwing up this mucus, black mucus that was, I guess it was from all the drugs I had been taking because I started smoking weed at 15. From 15, I think at that time I was about 35. So that's 20
So this
years.
was like a real life deliverance service between the two of you.
Yeah, between us. There was nobody there. I was in this living room. I wasn't in the church. I wasn't. And that's something I didn't believe in, but that just shows you the power of God. That's how I look at it. I didn't believe in it, but God said, I'm going to show you how powerful I am. And 20 years of getting high and drinking and cigarettes and all that kind of stuff. And we prayed, and I started throwing the stuff up.
Were you afraid? What were you feeling? I know you said you felt.
I wasn't afraid.
Give us some adjectives of what it was that you were feeling.
I was feeling.
Were you scared?
No, I wasn't scared. I was just. I felt. I guess happy. I felt happy because I could tell something was happening.
Okay, you could tell something was transpiring within you.
Yeah. Everything was. It was different. It was a different kind of feeling. I never felt that before in my whole entire life. And I was like, you know. And then he said, "Take the taste out of my mouth." And I remember hearing him say, "Take the taste of the alcohol and drugs. Take it away." You know, in the prayer he was praying. Then he said that I wouldn't desire him anymore. So he kept saying that. Certain things I remember him saying. And so he asked me, is anything else I had on me that I need to throw? I didn't know. I didn't have anything else. And so after he prayed, he said, told me to come to church Sunday. Sure, I'd come to church Sunday. And that was in 1995. And then I ain't have a desire to touch drugs, alcohol, cigarettes, none of that no more. Anymore.
Let me ask this question, because I'm a visual person. So you say you were upheaving 20 years of drugs and alcohol. Was it on the floor? Was it in the tub?
He had a waste basket.
Yeah, basket.
A waste basket. Yeah, a waste basket. And I was throwing, it was like, I don't even know how to describe it.
Yeah.
It was like black mucus like stuff. You know what I mean? I guess he was purging. They call purging.
Purging.
Right.
So would it be safe to say for people that believe in spirits that he was delivering you from all of those spirits?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, sure. Yeah, sure. I know. People can say, I know people believe what they want to believe, and I ain't here to convince nobody. If it's working for you, it's working for you. But it is such thing as spirit.
I mean, Jesus Christ delivered people from spirits in the Bible, so we know it's a good thing.
Yes. A lot of the stuff everybody taking medicine for is spirits. A lot of people. That's what I believe now. That's what I believe. And after he finished, I was like, I felt different, but I felt did he ask me then he asked me did after he did that, he asked me did I want to give my life to the Lord. I said, yeah, sure. And I had got baptized years ago when I was in as a kid, but it wasn't. I mean, I got baptized. I guess that's it.
Yeah, you got baptized.
It wasn't
you never professed Jesus Christ as your Savior.
Yeah. No, that wasn't that. Basically.
And it is a difference for people. Yeah, it is a difference.
Yeah, and I was like, so he said, all you got to do is confess and tell that the Lord is Savior. He died and rose on the. I believe that, and he asked me, did I believe it first? And I said, I believe it. And so after that, my whole life changed. Everything changed. Everything changed. And what happened was how the people and I prayed, I said, Lord, just take away the people I don't need in my life. Keep the ones that I need in my life. That was just my simple prayer. That wasn't nothing fancy. Just take the people out. And he did. He took all the people, and all the people he kept in my life. And like I said, that was in 95. They might hadn't changed, but now, 2026, they like to change. Yeah. They in church. They they're not smoking and getting high. They So all the people that he kept, he knew that they was gonna change. So that's why he kept the ones that didn't. You didn't keep. I didn't need to have them in my life.
And there's so many different pathways to deliverance.
Yeah.
And I've, yours, I saw my father be delivered by God, like my father smoked cigarettes. He was a drinker. He never went to any type of rehab or a 12-step program. And I saw God remove these things from him. Me, I had to go to a 12-step program. And I believe God is in the midst of I believe God is in the midst of all of it.
If you see you want to do better, when he see, to me, you might not physically speak on it and say, Lord, I want you in. But once you say, come out your mouth and say, I want to change my life, you inviting him in.
But when it gets bad enough,
saying you want to change. Yeah. So you feel like, okay, you don't want to change, so you can't want me in your life because I'm gonna change you.
Right. And I always like to call it the 3 A's. We have to acknowledge that there's a problem. And you said earlier, it doesn't matter if it's alcohol, if it's food, if it's drinking. If we're obsessing over it and our life has become unmanageable from it.
Right.
It could be a problem. I'm not saying it is for everyone, but it could be a problem. We have to acknowledge it. Then we have to accept it. And then once we accept it, we should make a decision on what it is that we want to do differently.
Right.
And that's when the crying out, going to treatment, going to the pastor, whatever your pathway looks like.
Yeah. Because everybody's bottom is different.
Be delivered.
Everybody bottom. People say I hit bottom. Everybody bottom. My bottom. My bottom is not like a lot of people bottom.
Yeah, some people hit some hard bottoms.
Some people bottom is death.
Yeah, death. And I know in the rooms of NA is jails, institutions.
Yeah.
Or death.
He kept me from. I never did have to go. I went to jail twice. That was for DUI, but as much as I was doing, I could have went for a lot worse. You know. So,
so do you ever look back, because you said something? In order to be delivered, you don't have to be a believer.
Mm-hmm.
So do you ever look back on how, even when you were, I'm just going to say, in active addiction, active substance abuse, in your mess, God was still there with you?
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel that?
Oh, yeah, because I would have been in jail, prison, or dead. If he wasn't. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he's there. He's there with people who, I say there's a lot. You know, people say, all the faith, and you got to have faith, and this and that, and which you do. But I think everybody got some sort of faith, whether you're a Christian, whether you living, going to church, or living for God, or you out there in the street doing whatever. You got some kind of faith. Because you always hear people say this, man, okay, I'll see you tomorrow. How you know that? If you ain't got no faith. You got to have faith that you're gonna be alive tomorrow. That's you know when people say, well, he ain't got no faith. I say he gotta have faith. I heard too many people who say, I'll see you tomorrow, or whatever, as having faith that they will be alive tomorrow. Whether they are or not, they got faith. So I believe everybody got an inkling of some kind of faith.
Mustard seed.
Yeah.
So what about, you don't have to be a believer to be delivered? What does that mean?
I mean, because a lot of people, you got people out here, you got people that don't believe there is a God that says, I want to change. And once you hear that word, once that word is out your mouth that you want to change, he'll still come to your defense, whether you are serving him or not serving him. To me, it's because all of us are sinners. So that's proof right there that he'll take us any kind of way we are. So see what I'm saying? People act like, I'm in the church, but one thing about me, I just believe that you got to be truthful. You got to be straight up. You can't be saying stuff just to say, I'm going to get you in the church. I don't buy that.
How important is transparency
To me, I don't know about to me. I think it's transparent because I don't know what you're holding on to and trying to be so secretive. I mean, you're not supposed to tell everything about your life. I mean, some things are supposed to be, kept between you and God. But if you can help somebody by saying something that you went through, because most people that been out in the street, done their thing, doing their thing, they ain't care who knew what they was doing when they was out there. No,
you said you want to be secret.
You don't stop it. Now you acting like you the head of the
It never happened.
You know what I'm saying? I can't go with I can't follow. I'm telling you, I can't follow people like that. I like people who gonna be real with me. You know what I'm saying? And people who sit there and act like they ain't never did nothing, this and that. Man, I can't follow you.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I don't care what title you got, But if you sit there and you try to act like you've been this way all your life, that's a lie. That's as simple as that. That's just simple as that. You know, that's a lie. And
my mother said, do you have to tell everybody your story? Do you have to tell everything? Everybody don't need to know everything. And my response was, well, Mom, it's my story to tell. If it can help someone else, it's my story.
To someone, you know what I'm saying? I really believe as Christians, where we missing the mark at is the transparency. Man, young people, that's my ministry too, young people. I know music is my ministry, but I love young people. I love young people.
Why?
Because for one reason, I really ain't had nobody listen to me when I was young. I mean, my dad and mom, they love me now. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I understand.
But you ain't had no voice. You ain't had nobody. That's why a lot of people go and talk to their friends instead of talking to the people. They should be talking to mom and dad.
And then they get the wrong advice.
Yeah, they get the wrong advice. They don't know no more than you know. So you listen to somebody who's going to agree with what you say, but they don't really, especially if y'all the same age, they ain't been through nothing and you ain't been through nothing. You know, so, but I believe you got to, in this time, in 2026, and it's a different breed of young people, man, than what we was. And it's just a fact. It's just a fact. And what you tell them, if you try to use what our mom and daddy did, that ain't working.
They don't like deception. They don't respect you when you're lying and you're not being honest.
They can see through it.
Yeah, they don't like that.
They can see through it. Yeah, no, you got to be, man. All of my nieces and nephews, and I got a bunch of them. They call me. And they know I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie to them. I'm gonna tell them when they wrong. I'm gonna tell them when they right. I'm gonna tell them you should do this or you should do that. But that's left up to you.
Yes.
But if I was you, this is what I do. And you can listen or you don't have to listen. But they'll call me. But that's come from knowing too where I come from and where I'm at now. All before they never put a title on my name. I was their uncle, but they never said uncle. They just said Sims.
And now they call you Uncle what?
Right, Uncle Sims. You know what I'm saying? So
respect.
That's respect. They respect. They know where I've been. They know. They saw, most of them saw in my element back then. So they know. No, he ain't faking now. I remember when, I remember this, I remember that, I remember that. You know, so, but young folks need you to be transparent. They don't need you to I'm not quoting scriptures and all that stuff. That's good for people who haven't been there. But if I ain't never been to church, you might well be speaking Russian to me.
Yeah. That's true.
I don't know what you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm not in the church and you're talking about, and I ain't never picked up the Bible and never read the Bible, what you talking is foreign. That's foreign language. I need you to talk to me like man
in layman's terms.
Yeah. And tell me, don't sit here and act like you been like this. I need to know how you get from point A to where you at now. Yeah. I don't need you to just act like this is just.
I was born like this.
Yeah. So that's why I say a lot of young people don't respect the church like they should, like they would.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this is the generation, I think it's Gen X. This is the generation that a lot of them question God, a lot of them question spirituality, and a lot of them don't go to church.
Right.
Because of what they see and what they hear. And you're not walking the walk that you're talking.
see, and a lot of them looks for. The thing is, a lot of them. Because I remember when I was out there, I looked for any reason not to go to church, and that's what they do. They look at me or you and say, you know what? Yeah, I seen so and so doing this and doing that, and I seen that. You know what I'm saying? I seen the preacher. See, they look for a reason not to go. And if you keep giving them reasons for them not to go, well, they're not gonna go.
They're not gonna go.
Yeah, but yeah.
Let's move forward. Marriage. How has your sobriety enhanced your marriage? Or has it enhanced your marriage? Let me ask that question.
Oh yeah, it's enhanced.
Yeah.
Anytime you can think clearly, it gotta enhance. It has to enhance everything, every part of your life. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I got my wife is she, man, a lot of people would have left. You know what I'm saying? Would have walked away. Anyway, and we had our moments and separation, but it was God that put us back together. And this was after I had done stopped. So this wasn't when I was out there. But she only wanted the best. She saw something like what the song is. She saw the best in me. Yeah, she saw like everybody got potential. She saw what I could be if I cut out this, cut out that, cut out this, cut out that. You know what I'm saying? So once I did that, I never was a real loud person, even drinking and getting. I never was a person who, who really changed for us. When a lot of people get high, they actually become somebody totally.
Yeah. Become more belligerent. Yeah.
They angry or they fussing and cussing, and that never was me. Never. I never really, not saying I ain't never cursed, but I never.
Yeah, I understand.
I wasn't raised around that, so I didn't. That didn't something I saw every day. You know what I'm saying? So, but
for the person that's watching and they've gone through a separation, how can you give them hope to know that marriages can be mended?
Me and my wife was separated for 13 years, and I wasn't even no present. It wasn't because I was locked up. And you got to meet. First of all, when you get married, before you get married, everything starts before you get married, not after you get married. So you got to know the person, what kind of person you marrying. I don't think a lot of people do that anymore. You know what I'm saying? I don't think they get to know the person. They might know what they got or what kind of, what they driving or what kind of stuff like that, materialistic stuff they got, but they don't know the person. I tell my nephews all the time. 2 years ago, 2022, I had a heart attack. I had double bypass surgery.
Oh, okay.
And all that comes from and like I said, I'm transparent. All that comes from getting high. That's where they come from. Even the doctor told me, So all that stuff. But imagine if me and my wife were separated and that happened. And when you have a double bypass surgery, you can't do nothing for yourself.
Yeah, yes.
Imagine if I was out, by myself. But she was there, hospital every day. And
how's your health now?
It's better. I feel good. Good. I have little problems with my leg, but that's when they operated on that. when they did the bypass, they had to take a vein out my leg to put in my heart. So it kind of throws my balance off sometimes. But I'm good. I'm good. But you gotta know who you marry, because stuff like that come up. You know, like New Edition say, "Can you stand the rain?"
Yes.
On rainy days gonna come. You might not, you know what I mean? And you get somebody just for looks. When this thing get hard, they gone. I tell my nephews that all the time. I'll sit in, and you know, I'm a man. I know what y'all be looking at. So when things happen, are they gonna find somebody else they ain't got to take care of?
Right.
Are they gonna be there with you? You know, that ain't the most important thing. So my wife, she just, you know, she believe in God. She trusts the Lord with all she got. She pray. She stay in front of God. You know, she covered me when I ain't thinking about.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, we got back together after 13 years of being apart. Not because I said I was waiting on God. Even though I was, you know, say I was waiting on God. We had some issues that we had to straighten out, and I was the kind of person that, you know, she was really into church. She's still into it, but it's different now. She was into the church. She was like church. I was like, hey, we got to have time. I was on, you know, being not, I ain't gonna say not raised in the church, but, you know, I'm used to going places, going to concerts, she didn't really want to do none of that stuff. I'm like, we got to have some fun sometime. It can't be just church. That's why we separated. And because I just couldn't just do it like that. That just wasn't me. I mean, and we separated. I didn't think it was gonna be but I wasn't gonna come back to the same situation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it ended up being 13 years. You know, we always kept in touch. You know, and
no one got a divorce, filed for divorce.
I had papers sitting up there, and I ain't never thought. I got them, and I ain't never really thought about it.
That's a blessing.
Yep. So, but you got to be able to be willing to, in order to get back together, you got to talk about what's the problem.
Hard conversation.
Everything always comes down to what the problem is. If it's you on drugs, what the problem was to cause you. Everything comes back to that's whatever seed was planted that made you start doing whatever you're doing or whatever. It always got to come. So you got to sit down and talk. You got to have a person that you can talk to, not a person who all that. I got to get the last word in, and you got to get the last word in, and because after that, you know. So we talk, and she's, you know, and it's like God put it in my ear, like when I heard, and I don't know what I was looking for, really, but when I heard it, I knew it was what it was. You know,
like when you had the deliverance experience.
Yeah,
yeah.
I was like, you know, I don't know what I was waiting for. And what I was waiting, I was waiting to hear something, but I didn't know exactly what it was, right? So, but when we was talking on the phone, this one particular time, we were separated, and we was talking, and I can't even remember exactly what it was, but when she said what she said, I said, well, I'll be home tomorrow. It was just that, but I had to hear what I had to hear.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I wasn't, you know, some people, I'd rather stay apart than go back to a same situation and we still in the same spot. It eventually gonna happen again if we don't straighten out the problem. You know what I'm saying?
And how long have the two of you been back together?
Since 2013.
Yes. And when we see you on Facebook, we notice that you're always coordinating with your attire. So whose idea is that?
I don't know. We just always did it when we was dating.
Okay.
But the thing I say about that is, if a person ain't got no taste, you ain't gonna want to dress like them. See what I'm saying? Most of the time now, if you don't like how they dress, you ain't gonna want to dress like them. If you don't like
You have your own style.
So evidently we must be
in sync.
Yeah. So we always did that. I don't know why, but we always did it.
Okay.
And so we've been together since 83.
83. Your music, your ministry.
Yes.
The two of you both of you are musicians, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you've recorded CDs, you've recorded albums.
Right.
So tell, how does your ministry, how does music bring the two of you together?
Wow. Music always, ever since I was young, I love music. Music was real important in my family. And my father, he used to love music way more than my mom did. I mean, not my mom didn't like it, but my dad, his family, the Whites, see, they very, very musical for singing and playing instruments or whatever. So it always been in my house growing up. You know, my dad used to listen to, let's see who he loved, Nat King Cole. Oh, yeah. I listened to so much Nat King Cole, it drove me crazy almost. But that was good music. You know what I'm saying? So Nat King Cole, my dad used, and he used to like people like Al Green, you know, same people I like. Till I started getting into the P-Funk, then he was like, "Oh no, I don't know about that." He said he used to call that that weed smoking music. That what he used to say. That so, but my wife, she grew up in the church. She sang. Matter of fact, in college she went to Voorhees, and she was Miss Gospel Chorale at Voorhees when she graduated, and you know, we love music. She only used to listen to gospel music. Now, you know, she listened to, like I said, she was just a church girl. That's all she knew, you know. So, but now we minister together, and
who's the songwriter? Who's the producer?
I'm the songwriter. I try to get her to write songs. She I don't know. Now when I start writing, she'll give me advice on how to. For her to sit down and thought she don't do it. But but I write. I didn't know I could write. I never, man. You don't know what you can do till you try. Really, because you probably had no idea you'd be doing this.
No.
You know what I'm saying? So,
and God gives us so many gifts and talents. And I think that each different stage in our life that he exposed them to us, and it's up to us to walk into them.
So I'm gonna tell you how I started writing songs. This is how I started. I always listen to music. I got albums. You know, I listen to all kind of music. It don't matter what kind it is, as long as it's good. You know what I mean? Good is, when I mean good, I mean, you know, it's put together well, you know, singing well, you know, because everybody's voice is different. That's the thing. I want people to get in their head that everybody that sing, when I like on Facebook, they have, well, who the best singer? You see that on Facebook. Who the best singer? I'm like, God gave everybody a different voice. So I'm not going to sound like you, or you're not going to sound like me. That don't mean you can't sing.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? But so so when it came down to me writing songs, we was in church one evening. I forgot what kind of service it was. It was so long ago. There was a pastor from she was from, I know she was from Florida, but I want to say Lakeland, Florida. So she called me up front. She was talking. She said, "You love music. I could tell you love music." And she was telling me. She said, "You know, God told me to tell you that you're going to be a songwriter." I'm looking at this lady like, a songwriter? I ain't never tried to write a song in my whole entire life. Never. And she said, "Yeah, you gonna write." She told my wife, man, sometimes he gonna be in a room by himself and he gonna be writing. Don't get upset because he don't have his mind on you all the time. You know what I'm saying? Because this is something God placed in his heart. You know, it was a prophecy. You know what I'm saying? So one thing about a prophecy, people say false prophets, but a prophecy only works if you do your part. See, if they say, "Gail, you gonna have a podcast," tell you that, but you don't never try to put one together, it ain't gonna work. It ain't no podcast that's gonna drop out the sky. But you know, that's how it works. So it took me 10 years. 10 years. I thought I had got hurt on the job and I couldn't go out and work, so they had me in the office. So I said, "Man, I'm gonna start to write a song." That's all right. So I threw it in the trash can. I started right through it in the trash can. So I did like the 5 heart. You see the 5 heartbeats? Mm-hmm. The girl got the translation. If you put this together and then you put this together and you put this together, you got a song. And that's what I did.
Right.
So I went and I wrote the song. I said, "Well, I'm gonna go and see about." I didn't know who to go and try to record it or nothing like that. I just kept the song. Then I end up. Me and my wife separated. I met some guys in the church. They do like gospel rap, and so I said, "Man, I got the song. You know, somebody could put the music together." I recorded. That was my first time ever, going in the studio recording. Mm. But I've gotten better at writing songs, and and it ain't hard, but it ain't as easy as as it seemed to be, But I thank God for it. Yeah, but we work together for us. We both want to do praise and worship at church, so we sing together all the time.
Mm-hmm. For someone that's listening and tuning in, if they want to purchase your music, where would they go to, or how would they contact you?
They can purchase it online. It's on all streaming platforms like Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, iHeartRadio.
And what would they type in?
They would type in the name Benjamin and Zelda White.
Spell Zelda?
Zelda.
Okay.
And the name of the CD is called, our last project is called The Message.
The Message.
Yeah, and it's 8 songs. 8 songs. Okay. And it'll be on any of those platforms, iTunes, like I say, Apple, Spotify, all those streaming sites. And if they have, most people don't have CD players anymore in their cars, but we do have CDs. And,
okay.
And they can get in contact with me. Give me a call. I can give you my number.
Give us your Facebook platform. How can they contact you through Facebook?
Benjamin White and Benjamin White. Yeah. Facebook.
Okay.
So
This has been really good, Mr. Benjamin White.
thank you. I enjoyed it.
Thank you.
I loosened up a little bit. I was a little nervous at first.
Thank
I
you.
can sit here like, tensed up, but
Thank you. And before we leave, before we close, this is the Gail Estella Survival Podcast. I want you to tell me 3 things that God has helped you to survive, or how God has helped you to survive. How God has helped you to survive.
how he helped me survive.
3 ways.
Well, my deliverance from the drugs and alcohol, one way. Giving me more patience, the second way. And let me know that I'm more than enough. Yeah.
I like that, especially coming from a man. Because for a lot of women, that's our mantra. But coming from a man, I love it. We're going to leave on that. You are more than enough.
Yeah. Thank you.
Have a great night, okay?
You too.
Thank you. Bye-bye.